Hello again. Welcome to the final part of The Magic Finger, part 8. Remember, the story is by the author called Roald Dahl. Okay, last time we left the Magic Finger, Mr. and Mrs. Gregg, William and Philip had been turned back into full-size people with arms. They no longer had wings, and the ducks that used to live in their house for a short period of time have flown off. Now, I asked you a couple of questions, which were, how are the Greggs feeling now, do you think? And what do you think the queer sight was that the girl saw in the Greggs' garden? Remember, at the gate I stopped and stared. It was a queer sight. What was it that she was seeing? What did you decide that maybe she could see over the garden gate? Because remember, they're back to normal now. So it's not that she's seeing them with wings. Let's find out. Oh my goodness me. Oh, my post-it note off. There we are. In the corner, Mr. Gregg was smashing all 3 guns into tiny pieces with a huge hammer. Why do you think the girl thinks that's a queer sight? Why is it something she didn't expect to see? Pause the video if you need to discuss that and have a think. Okay, do you remember why Mr. Gregg is doing that? What did he say to the ducks that he would do? In another corner, Mrs. Gregg was placing beautiful flowers upon 16 tiny mounds of soil, which I learned later were the graves of the ducks that had been shot the day before. That's a sweet gesture, isn't it? It's not going to bring the ducks back though. It's still very sad for Mr. and Mrs. Duck, but at least it shows that Mrs. Gregg and Mr. Gregg seem to have learned their lesson. And in the middle of the yard stood Philip and William with a sack of their father's best barley beside them. They were surrounded by ducks, doves, pigeons, sparrows, robins, larks, and many other kinds that I did not know, and the birds were eating the barley that the boys were scattering by the handful. So have Philip and William changed their behaviour as well? Do you think they used to feed all these different types of birds? Good morning, Mr. Gregg, I said. Mr. Gregg lowered his hammer and looked at me. My name is not Gregg anymore, he said. In honour of my feathered friends, I have changed it from Gregg to Egg. And I am Mrs. Egg, said Mrs. Gregg. What happened? I asked. They seemed to have gone completely dotty, all 4 of them. Philip and William then began to tell me the whole story. When they had finished, William said, Look, there's the nest. Can you see it? Right up in the top of the tree. That's where we slept last night. I built it all myself, Mr. Egg said proudly. Every stick of it. Look, there they are, all looking up at the tree. If you don't believe us, Mrs. Egg said, just go into the house and take a look at the bathroom. It's a mess. They filled the tub right up to the brim, Philip said. They must have been swimming around in it all night. And feathers everywhere. Ducks like water, Mr. Egg said. I'm glad they had a good time. Just then, from somewhere over by the lake, there came a loud bang. Uh-oh, what do you think it could be? Someone's shooting, I cried. That'll be Jim Cooper, Mr. Egg said. Him and his 3 boys. They're shooting mad, those Coopers are. The whole family. Suddenly, I started to see red. Then I got very hot all over. Then the tip of my finger began tingling most terribly. I could feel the power building up and up inside me. I turned and started running towards the lake as fast as I could. "Hey!" shouted Mr. Egg. "What's up? Where are you going?" "To find the Coopers," I called back. "But why?" "You wait and see," I said. "They'll be nesting in the trees tonight, every one of them." Okay, that is the end of The Magic Finger by Roald Dahl. So my 2 questions for you for today, and I would love it if you would email me the answers, please. Question number 1. Do you think the Gregs will tell anyone else about this experience? Will they tell people about the time that they shrank to the size of birds and got wings instead of arms, and they had to build a nest and sleep outside and then promise that they would never shoot another thing again? I would like to know why you think either they would tell other people about this, or why you think they wouldn't tell other people about this experience. What might their reasons for this be? Question number 2. The girl has just run off to find the Coopers. Remember, she's got very hot all over. The tip of her finger's beginning to tingle most terribly. She can feel the power building up inside her. And she has said that the Coopers will be nesting in trees tonight. What do you think she is going to do to the Coopers? Have a think. What did she say the Coopers are doing? And what happened to the Gregs when they did that? I hope you've enjoyed The Magic Finger by Roald Dahl. I absolutely love it. I think it is a fantastic story. I'll look forward to getting your emails with your answer to my 2 questions. And we'll start a new story soon. Bye for now.